provided with the minutes of the September 20th meeting. Any additions or corrections? Motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Jeremy and David. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We need a motion to approve the special meeting minutes of September 24th. David and Mike. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Treasurer's report. Bill.
Okay, first let's do codes, one sheet. There's not much change from last month. Front page, top is the current assets. We had one voucher come in since our last meeting. And then the other side is the checking account statement and the savings. And next to be the district. Page 1 is the assets at the top, bottom are the current liabilities. Page 2 and 3 is the budget versus the actual. And you'll see on page 2, I got some asterisks there, but we'll go over that in a few minutes. Just page 4 is the previous year comparison. 5, 6, and 7 are the bank account pages. And on page 5, you'll see the second from the bottom there on the money market is the bond funds have arrived at $777,692. It's in the bank. Page 8, liabilities, which we just have the one as of right now. We don't have a payment due on the new one yet. Page 9 are the referendums, and that hasn't changed. 10 is the service awards, and that's down 25,000, 26,000 for September. And 11, 12, and 13 are the vouchers. Now, with the vouchers, if you'll take out this one page, thing that says page 12, legal and audit. You'll see on page 12 on the vouchers, a little more than halfway down, the legal and audit, there's 3 bills. Premier Printing, Trespass and Marklet, and fiscal advisors for a total of $14,505. Okay, these are bills that are in tonight, haven't been paid yet. And if I were to pay them, we'd be overdrawn that line item, $13,632.33. So we need to increase the legal and audit budget by at least $14,505. And listed below is what I've come up with. And if you go to page 2, that's where the asterisks come in. So the first one is conventions. I would take 23,000 out of that 2451. And down, 2 down for Lysander Public Safety, I would take out 1,500. The next one down, the fitness program, would take out 2,000. Next one down, fuel, lights, and water, I would take out 7,500. And down, like 10 down, physicals, I take out 3,000. And it adds up to 16,300. I would move that to the legal and audit. And after we pay the bills, it would leave us with 1,795 in legal and audit. And way on the left, what's left in the budget of convention, public safety, fitness, fuel, and physical are the amounts over there. And I would recommend that we do that.
Is don't we normally give the 1,500 to bystanders?
We generally do that in the first of the year, and we decided then to hold off on that. So,
Do they not do it? If no one's going on, is that the idea?
yeah, little, Bill and I went over this morning, and it seemed like logical transfers.
Yeah, I don't think so.
This, the M2 repair, is that called for insurance?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and I think we already have the check.
Yeah, we already got the truck.
Yeah.
So if that's acceptable, I need a motion.
Okay, David makes the motion, and Mike seconds. And in the motion, we will put these figures in the motion for the minutes. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, so Bill, you've got the transfer done.
And now I got the rest here. We've got 37 vouchers in the district tonight, 10 credit card, 0 pros, because we already paid that 1, and 2 overtime. And we mentioned Mike gets the bank statements. Bond money is in. And I think that's all I have.
Just as a point of explanation on the legal and expenses from the truck bonds for the truck, we decided back when we bonded, or back when we wrote the spec and awarded the bid for the truck, that we would pay those legal expenses out of current money, rather than pay interest on that amount of money, that we would pick it up out of our budget. We're able to do that, and that's why we're transferring some monies to accommodate that expense. Okay, motion to approve the treasurer's report. David? Jeremy? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approval for paying the vouchers as presented and audited. Motion by David, second by Jeremy. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. So, and Mike Chura will review the bank statements and checks and such. Okay, is that it for treasurer's report? Okay, Correspondence. Mary.
We have a letter from the town of Lysander for notice of intent. The establishment of the SEQRA lead agency is the town of Lysander for the proposed cell phone tower being built at 7780 Hicks Road. So they would be the lead agency on that. Fire Districts Mutual, we have an estimated rate decrease of approximately 0 to 5%. This is only an estimate, doesn't factor in changes to any other premium factors such as population, payrolls, change in carrier company, or the experience modification factor. Any changes in those factors would have an impact on the final premium as well. This is just based on the Insurance Review Board, and what they're saying right now is what the rates are going to be. We also received notice from Fire Districts Mutual that the Chief Operating Officer, Matt Vilas, has chosen, he has resigned effective September 17th. He's chosen to move on to Las Vegas and seek a different career path, and they are actively seeking a replacement for his position. And that's all I have for correspondence.
Last month, you told us about the Central Region training seminars at Barneveld, which was last Saturday. And we have one here at Belgium Cold Springs. Is it November 20th?
November 20th.
And so we will need information on what commissioners or chiefs would like to attend that on November 20th. I'll try to send out a reminder.
I think I've sent it, but we can send it again.
Chief's report, chief speech.
Okay, we'll start with equipment. We ordered a few more of the water can slings. They actually just came in my office, so we'll get those in service very soon. Currently working with Commissioner Chura on a list of stuff we need for the new trucks, just some miscellaneous brackets, equipment, and other stuff like that. Special events coming up in November. The Bonneville Parade of Lights is November 27th. The apparatus that we're going to use is to be determined yet, but typically we try and get a couple pieces of apparatus in there without stripping our district. So once that gets closer and we decide what we're using, I'll let you know. For apparatus, our current truck is still on the market. I'll let Mike talk a little more about that after. The new truck is done. It's currently in Vandermolen, and we did have training scheduled for the 23rd and 24th, but that may be delayed a little. They found a leak. So if they can get it repaired before then, great. If not, we may have to push that off. It's promising that we'll still have it for training, but we'll see. Our COVID-19 preparation, response, and planning, we're still in really good shape with our PPE, and no change in our current policy there. As far as I'm concerned, we'll keep operating the way we have been. The process for signing out M2 has been reworked, and I've noticed an increase in usage over the last month or so. More members are signing out. That's good. We are live with the EMS chart software. I've seen several charts come through for approval, and they all look really good. Just some real minor things missing, like the run number and stuff like that, but I'll put together an email and just go over some of that stuff. But the charts have been looking pretty good. Chief Cork and I have talked about it. We're going to, at some point, try and set up another training night for that to get everybody up to speed. Of course, I always encourage putting duty crews in service and getting Engine 91 in service, and our participation whenever we can. I've noticed the bricks usage is getting a little bit better. I did send out that survey. I just have to compile all the data from that. We can look and see where we can improve things to increase that a little bit. Other than that, thanks for your continued support. Chief Massaro can't make it tonight, he's got work stuff, but he did send me a few things. We did have the issue with Timberbanks with the fire department connections, all being 5-inch and we used 4-inch. Somehow that was missed, but Timberbanks got approval from their owners and they're gonna switch all those 5-inch connectors out to 4-inch for us. And we don't have to pay for it, so they're eating the cost for that. So to our knowledge, it hasn't been done yet, but we're gonna continue to follow up to make sure that, you know, find out when that does get done, we'll let everybody know. Found the same issue at 21 Parkway Drive. They also have a 5-inch connection. It should be a 4-inch. So we're working with them right now to get that switched over. We do have adapters, so it's not like we can't hook to it. It's just one less thing we have to remember if it's the same size as the hose we carry. Let's see. There's, the last planning board meeting, there was some discussion about the development of the land on the corner of Drake's and Route 31. They had some updated plans. They still need to get the environmental study done, but they're slowly moving ahead with that. They did move the entrance further north on Drake's away from Route 31 intersection, but it still may be very congested. I don't know if you've ever been that way in the morning. It's pretty, there's a lot of traffic on Drake's, and there's a lot of people coming out of there. It's going to be even more congested, so they're working with that. Plus everything on the inside of the complex is kind of tight, so they're going to have to run their apparatus modeling tool for us, make sure we can fit our apparatus through there. But more to come on that. Nothing's finalized yet, so we'll keep an eye on that. That's all I have.
Okay, Chief Corcoran.
October's training, we're about 2/3 through it, but October, we had the AV tour that went really well. Had an opportunity to meet Dave, their health and safety manager, which was really good. This coming Thursday, we'll be doing our CPR AED refresher for everyone in the department. And then I have currently scheduled some familiarization last Thursday of the month on truck 2. So I'll be monitoring, you know, the chief will keep me looped in on the status of truck 2. November, tentatively, we have our pilot program. We have to do our CMEs annually. We got that scheduled in November. Been talking with Chief Massaro concerning doing some pre-plan training, because he's been developing a lot of the different pre-plans for the different facilities within our district. And then last Thursday of the month is Thanksgiving. One other thing the chief and I have been working on is a Evoc Refresh. We've been talking about that for the past several months, so we have that tentatively scheduled for a Saturday morning in November also. So.
Any questions for the chiefs?
Are you going to invite the support members that want to get their CPR AV update to the training?
I had not.
There are a few of us, I believe.
Going on to committee reports. Communication.
Not much. I gotta find a weekend in October or November. So nothing scheduled.
Building and facilities. David.
The kitchen and pantry, food serving tables are ordered. We're waiting for parts, just like any other thing around. We gotta wait for those. They're supposed to tentatively, ETA is in December. Once the tables arrive, the pantry renovation will be completed. Due to the price of lumber, any other construction, self-construction has been eliminated. We're not going to do it. Courts parking lot expansion, that's still with the engineer. I talked to them Friday. They're still working along. they've been working with the town, so there's some minor changes to the parking lot plans. Still planning on getting that done this year. And Station 2 roof, I think, Amy, we're still waiting for supplies to come in, correct?
Yeah, I emailed him, but he didn't get back to me, so I'll follow up with him again.
That's it for,
Okay. New truck committee, status on truck 2. Mike?
It's got a leak.
The new truck 2.
It's got a leak. Reading the email from 4 o'clock this afternoon. As the chief was saying, both chiefs were saying, they were hoping for possibly using it for drill on the 28th. When we went for our inspection, we found a leak somewhere else. That's not uncommon to find many problems on a specially built vehicle like a fire truck, and every one is independently specially built. So we had them correct the first leak before it got here last week. This other leak just came up. So as the chief mentioned, the 23rd, 24th may or not happen, but Nick is going to keep us posted as soon as possible. And as the chief said, we are in the process of purchasing some new equipment for the truck. Your intake valves, things like that. If they come in delayed like everything else manufactured, we still don't have a problem because we can take them off the old truck if need be. And then when they come in, we just swap them back. So it looks nice, rides nice, and it drives like a rocket. But I think the committee did a good job with it. Suffolk was very good working with us. As much as they would like to have it in our door tomorrow, we're hesitant on taking it unless we have the items fixed first. Otherwise, what could be an hour fix is a day out of service here because we got to send it to Utica. So we're getting as many of those minor things fixed ahead of time. Any questions on it? That's it for the new truck.
Okay, how about selling the old truck?
Amy, just hit the face button. No inquiries yet. So we've lowered the price again after talking to the listers. I always ask them, what do you think is a good, fair price compared to the comparables that you have listed? And as others are dropping theirs, we've been dropping ours. We've dropped ours now to $69.9. Again, we've had 0 inquiries on it. So let's keep our fingers crossed. I would like to suggest possibly, I mean, keep it listed where our listers are, but possibly looking into the, what is it, Auctions Unlimited?
Auctions International.
That you guys have used before to feel them out. I know, Kate, what are your feelings on?
Well, if you watch them, large vehicles go for peanuts. Smaller vehicles seem to, we've done very, very well there, but you notice that there's lots of pumpers and engines and rescues that, the high bid is $8,000 or $4,000. So, but, we don't have to accept the bid.
That's the other thing. We don't have to accept their bid, and if we don't sell it through them, there is still a price we have to pay them for doing the auction.
No,
No.
no, we don't pay anything.
I'll look into that.
No, the buyer pays a fee.
But if we have no buyer,
I don't think well, I don't know, we've never had that come up.
from what I was told, if we have no buyer, we have to pay him roughly what his time was to take the pictures, to list it. And
But it doesn't have to.
what's that?
It doesn't have to take pictures.
I know. But we'll look into that, as, you know, if you guys want us to, or if there's objections to looking into possibility of auctioning it.
Lysander Public Safety, the next meeting is Wednesday at Baldwinsville Fire Department Station 3. That's their new station up by the high school, near that little strip mall area. That's 7 o'clock Wednesday. Budget and Finance. We have the 2022 budget. We had our hearing tonight. Amy, have you done the paperwork with West
Yep.
Comptroller? And as I noted in the at the public hearing, that the budget is, there's a decrease from last, or an increase in the budget from last year, but a decrease in the tax rate because of the increase in assessed valuation. So our budget is, the levy would be $1,473,055. We have a motion to adopt the budget. David makes the motion. Jeremy seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And Amy will file a copy of that budget with the town of Lysander. What is it, by, there's a date, November 4th or something like that. IT committee.
I have no updates.
Recruitment and retention.
The Facebook ad that we approved last month finished, I think, last week at some point. I forget the exact date. So YouTube, Facebook stats will be available, should be today. And I can pull it out and run a report to see how effective the campaign was and who saw it and who clicked on it and that kind of stuff. So more to come on that.
Did we get any inquiries for membership?
Not that I don't know. Sometimes I don't know until, sometimes they turn in paper ones, but it just shows up at the business meeting. So none that came in through email that I saw.
Personnel, I have no report except that employees are if they want to carry over any vacation days, they have to appeal to the board at the November meeting of their intention to get permission to carry over any vacation days. That's at the November meeting. The caretaker reports were both in your folders from caretaker and from the caretaker leader. Caretaker leader could not be here tonight. Do we have any questions?
On your, looking at the caretaker report, he had there that JPD came out and moved up truck 2. I don't know when that was done. If that was prior to this Thursday, we took it over to Liverpool for a pretty good workout for their class that they had. And retracting that thing is making a lot of noise. When I retract that ladder. Like it needs grease or something down on the lower portion of the ladder.
I think it was before, I
Yeah, I
think
think it was.
they fixed it before you took it, so.
Yeah, so Thursday night, I mean, you could ask everybody that was at class, who operated and everything else, but when it was retracting, it was definitely need some kind of grease or something on it, down by the Thursday where.
All right, I'll tell Jerry. Thank you, Mark.
Truck maintenance, I guess that would probably fit right in with truck maintenance.
So, yeah, some work's been done on a couple other, M3 had a cracked windshield, that's covered by insurance. M2 got a trickle charger that'll plug into 120 volts so we can avoid the MBTs or people leaving dash lights on in the stall here that's causing battery issues. So Jerry got that installed. I haven't seen it yet. That's all I'm aware of for truck maintenance.
Building maintenance,
Nothing on building maintenance. I know that Jerry was getting everything winterized on the buildings. I talked to him about that. And we're talking about Station 2 roof, and we're just waiting for the supplies to come in on that.
I don't see any old business on the agenda.
I have something on old business. The status of the boat. Seems like we haven't heard anything on that. Chief,
Still looking into it.
it's,
I do have a report of who's qualified on what, who has what classes. But there's been a ton of other stuff going on, just kind of fell off the radar.
But that list is the same as whenever it was brought up, what, 4 or 5 months ago?
Should the only differences is maybe who has the motor safety class? I think we had all that. Did we?
do we even need the boat? I mean, it's been like 6 months and we haven't really done anything with it. And it's just sitting there. I'd like to make a recommendation we sell it. Get rid of it. Not the equipment on it, not the suits and all that stuff, but for all the training that we have to do on it. And we have to remember the boat's over, what, 50 years, almost 50 years old? So, Mike, any comments, any thoughts?
I think if we're gonna sell, as Dave said, keep the, I'm sorry, Mark, I'll use your term, the Gumby suits and,
That's what they are.
you know, the other things, but sell the boat, the motor, and the trailer. And if we go to the auction place, as you were saying, maybe smaller items sell better, we'll ask them if individually selling them or as a package is better. I'd probably prefer to sell it as a package and it all goes. Because the other suits and stuff are still usable. You can put them on any vehicle, take them where you need them. But if we haven't had a huge influx of training, I know you and I talked earlier about just training on the new truck too. I can see a lot more interest on a new truck too than on the boat. And I think the truck would be a higher priority for most people than the boat. So I'd be in favor of getting rid of all three of those items.
Are we also going to be eliminating the banana boat?
The inflatable, I will keep that. They can go out on the ice and stuff like that. With the ice, with the cold water and stuff
Right,
also.
so that's, I mean, we're talking about water training and everything else that we need to follow up and try to get more ice training. But we have a very limited window when we get to do that also, so, I mean, for the boat itself, we're not out there to do actual diving and training to do for the county. We're not a county trained type water rescue. We're there to assist them if we need to take something out to them. To get, now you got a whole bunch of jet skis and everything else out in the water. Now you're gonna have to rely on Phoenix to get their boat from, if they're on, depending on a trail or if they're on the other side of the block to get over. Or now we gotta rely on Ballinsville or Seneca River. I mean, we haven't had the opportunity to work on the boat because it's been out of service all summer. But we have in the past worked on it and used it and trained with it. But the way how circumstances have been lately with COVID and training and personnel and everything else, it's just everybody's things are changing. But the boat, we've had it for numerous years. Like I said, it's not a life, not for drowning support. We're there for support to the public. For if you got a broken down jet ski, those are easy. We can just throw them a rope, tow them in, bring him in, he's done.
Why are we in the tow truck business?
Same reason why we're in the business of helping people when they're stuck in a ditch. It's a hazard. You get a jet ski stuck in the middle of the river, that's a hazard. It's just like somebody stuck in the middle of the road. We go out, we don't tow them, but we provide assistance on trying to prevent anything.
You're usually called for somebody stuck in the road for an accident or something like that. So you're checking for entries.
I'm just,
I mean, we could what if this all night,
well, absolutely, that's what the whole fire service is basically, what is.
but nobody has used that boat or tried to increase their training. In 6 months, you said? 8
I
months?
think it's been about 6 months, yeah.
I can't remember last time we got called for.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's up. It's up.
And we could
And
take-
if we have to
I think we
retrieve
had one
a
person do some
and we could
work.
take
jet
out-
ski,
Or even,
we have time to call Phoenix, call Ballinsville, call Seneca River, call Liverpool, call the sheriffs.
well, then that's almost like saying with a truck. We're gonna be doing a lot of training on the truck, and we very seldom use the truck as a truck. And why do we purchase a truck if we got all these other neighboring departments having specialty pieces, trucks? I mean, the boats, that's another thing, but I guess just my way of looking at it is we have almost 20 miles worth of river to supply something, but you guys have the authority that if you want to get rid of it, we'll get rid of it, and just need to notify, but we haven't had the opportunity to right now. I mean, if you give us the opportunity, there's a couple of us that would take it out, train.
Would either chief care to address the, I'm not going to say the lack of training or the holding people back from training?
As the training chief, I don't believe I've held anybody back from doing training on it. I guess my question would be, or my response would be, number one, Mark, are you recommending that we don't purchase this new truck?
Well, it's like,
Are you recommending that we don't purchase it?
well, you're throwing these questions at me.
Well,
We have a truck.
I guess
What I'm saying is,
I guess my response to your comment about the boat versus the truck would be that the truck is a fire apparatus, which is, I would say, part of our core business. And we do training on all of the aspects of what companies of firefighters on the truck do as part of firefighting activities, entry, et cetera, et cetera. On the boat side of things, as you're pointing out, we're not necessarily responding to an emergency, we're responding to a call where, the only word that comes to mind, and I don't mean this in a
No, go
negative
ahead,
way,
go ahead.
I don't mean this in a negative way, is a nuisance call.
Right.
There's no imminent danger there because, as you pointed out, our boat is not intended for rescue purposes.
Correct. It's their-
Our truck is intended for part of our core business. We're not in the, any call we go on is dispatched as some form of a potential emergency or hazard that needs to be identified and determined if it's something that's in our area of expertise or whether it needs to be handed off to a wrecker or police agency or something like that. That would be my response, Commissioner Shura.
So we just only have a call back. Or putting money in the program. If we were running 60 water calls a summer, you know, that changed things. But we have a more robust training program for the boat. But just for the one time we go, we've got Phoenix, Bonneville, Thunder River, we have a very good water rescue program. You know, we have other people we can get assistance from.
I think after listening to the support of both chiefs, and I'm going to make a motion that we sell the boat and the trailer,
And the motor too.
the motor too, not the other equipment. The equipment that you could use for, Mark, you described it as like water rescue for like out of
Yeah,
ice
there's
rescue.
water suits, there are gunky suits, the line tenders, there's life jackets. Pretty much that's about it. There's some flotating devices in there you can throw. Those I would keep for the current ponds and everything else that we have.
So does the banana boat, does that go on the river at all?
It can.
It
It
can.
can,
But it
but
would be
it's
more-
more useful on ice.
I used to read them with the
The
ponds and
ponds and stuff we
that.
have around us.
I understand the ponds, but why if we're getting rid of the boat, we should probably not have that go on the river.
You could use that nice rescue.
On ice, it could be useful, but
On
not,
ice, right.
I don't think it's too great for open water. Because we got manpower, I think.
You understand my concern.
But that would be
So
expensive.
we'll just, I'll leave that to you, but I make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Further discussion? And I think that we've clarified that both chiefs present are, support the sale. Okay.
Since I have both for the current truck too, do you want me to look into this part too? For auctioning it?
I would think so.
I don't have a problem with that.
I just put it right next to the other one, so.
Package deal.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. New business, election board, this year, because we've got new legislation, we can now pay the election board $70. We can pay up to $100 if there are additional hours involved, and we've never had to have additional hours, so I guess at this point, we could approve our increasing the pay to $70. And so maybe I'll make that motion. Jeremy seconds the motion. Further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So additional personnel, Amy, what's your thoughts?
Usually I
there?
have 4 people, 3 people. I'd like to try to utilize 3 or like 4 or 5 maybe. Last year we had a ton of people through. This year we have 2 open spots or 2 spots that are up. So it might be easier to have a couple extra people just to get the traffic through faster. Have to have that approved.
To authorize Amy to ask, to, line up 2 additional people?
Yeah.
I don't think we need a motion for that. Support member application for Austin Emmons.
It was approved by the membership. It lives on Parkway Drive.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Jeremy? Mike seconds the motion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We have a support member application for Michelle Malone.
I'll make the motion.
Jeremy makes the motion. Second, David. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now regarding the commissioner election, which is on December
14th.
14th, in order to be placed on the ballot for commissioner elections, you need to have a letter into the secretary of the fire district by November 24th, and you must indicate and specify the term that you want to run for, because we have two openings this year, one for a 1-year term, one for a 5-year term. And you must specify that in the letter to run for commissioner.
Is it a 1-year or a 2-year?
I think it's a 1-year.
2-year.
Should be 2.
Oh, is it 2? Okay. Well,
The 24th at, the 24th date, is there a time deadline? Is it close of business 4 or 5 o'clock, or is it midnight?
probably
I would say close of business. I don't know.
close of business on the 24th.
Because it has to be in writing, not an email. It has to be a physical letter.
So that you would have to receive. What time do you close?
4:30, 5 o'clock.
Do you want to specify a date here, or time, I mean?
I would say 5.
We will be having an executive session this evening. But before we do that, do we have any public comments?
Could I ask just a quick question? I noticed here that it says next commissioners meeting is November 16th. That's a Tuesday.
Oh,
Is the next meeting on a Tuesday or a Monday?
the 15th.
So we will move to executive session. We do not anticipate any action after the executive session. Is that correct?
I have a question.
Oh,
Before
sorry.
you go forward, I was letting that finish. So where is the district's written policy and procedure on discipline associated with violations by members of the Board of Fire Commissioners? I don't see a specific policy or procedure in Power DMS focusing on discipline. I do see a complaint form referenced by policy 00337. However, section 2 of the complaint process outlined on page 6 only covers violations within the department. There's no reference to when the complaint is against a commissioner as to whom the form should be presented, who will investigate the complaint, what rules will be used to judge the validity of the complaint, and how the outcome will be administered. I ask because it's come to my attention that during a recent meeting with the department's executive board, 2 commissioners clearly stated that I wrote a summary of findings by the executive board regarding Charlie. This is a false statement. I was not aware of the document, the writing of the document, or what it was stating until Charlie received a copy by email from Janelle, and he subsequently asked me to print it. This false statement by 2 commissioners and witnessed by the remaining commissioners, as well as the chief and most members of the executive board, violates District Policy 00037, Code of Conduct. The section it violates include items 6, 14, and 16 under the introductory section, which starts with all personnel shall of the code. So I have a complaint here, written up, against 2 commissioners, and there is nothing in any of the documentation that talks about the policy, procedure, and who will do the investigation and who this document goes to. Because all references are to department discipline in the code and in the process for review.
Well, I mean, we went through that pretty fast. So my thought is that district discipline is covered by town law. So I don't know that the district needs to have a policy on how the discipline process would work because it's covered by town law.
So how does this complaint get resolved and looked at?
So you are making a complaint?
I am.
Okay, so you need to present it to us. And-
Here it is, all written up,
Okay, and we're gonna have to,
full details.
okay. All right, we'll review it and do our due diligence. So, any more comments? So, Jeremy, are you going to make the motion to go into executive session?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to go into executive session to discuss the resume or employment history of an individual which may lead to his or her suspension. Item I.
And we don't anticipate taking action after the executive session. David seconds the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That document needs to be signed and dated that you received it.